Once there was a team of pranksters. They would travel from town to town. They had a master plan. First, they would carefully set up a surveillance system. That took a lot of planning and careful execution to know when people would wake up. First, they went to small towns and farms, and when people would go to sleep, and slowly counted the number of roosters. Once they had everything calibrated, they would continue. Once they found a farm with more than a few roosters, they would borrow some to sneak into people's telephones, to bring and then take back later, and to sneak into their alarm clocks. Then they would drive these roosters, who were well fed and taken care of, and once they had everything set up, where they would temporarily use them, they would be ready to have fun. Once there was a group of scientists. Once there was a young girl who were tasked with researching a great mystery. She had already decided by the time she was 5 of how to find the greatest human strength. That when she grew up, she was going to be the best baton twirler in the world. That, according to legend, is hidden behind our greatest fear. So she practiced twirling slowly. The trouble was that most people are afraid of their fears. She practiced twirling quickly. So they kept investigating various ways that could allow people to go deeper, tossing the twirling baton up in the air into your greatest fears, to open them and embrace them and appreciate them and accept spinning it around and catching it. They found this is what it means to dig beneath your fears. But then something strange happened. Not to fight through them with power or force or mental and emotional weaponry. She found that some twirling frequencies were more pleasing than others, but to openly embrace and accept them. Some twirling frequencies were more comfortable than others. Your greatest fears are made of energy. And she started to unconsciously resonate her baton twirling with her own brain frequencies. Your greatest strengths are made of energy. Since she was still growing up and her mind was still calibrating, they unexpectedly synced together. Going from fear to strength is difficult, giving her extraordinary powers up on the surface of telepathy and mind reading. But going from energy to energy is only going deeper. Remote viewing and out-of-body experiences from one form up on the surface of wonderful expectations of the future to another form deep down below. Soon she decided that baton twirling was only a hobby, sliding down from the top and embracing the energy. Not a career, that her real career would be foretelling the future, deep down below, of helping people make fantastic decisions once they arrived into the city center, of how to make money. They would slowly find houses and apartments, of how to increase happiness and pleasure, with bedrooms that faced east. Finally, when everything was calibrated, they released the programming, preferably with open windows during the summer, so that everybody's alarm clock would ring at the same time. So when the sun began to rise, the roosters would begin, and everybody's phone would ring at the same time. And they would all wake up. And they did this every night at midnight, surprised, shocked, and discombobulated. But only until everybody started to gather outside to hear a rooster in their backyard, wondering what was happening. Then they would see a sign on their front door for a rooster removal service. Then they would remove the programming and continue. They would happily pay to be able to, but what they didn't realize was that many more things were coming. Go back to sleep in their future. Then the rooster pranksters would return for the future of their loved ones. And everybody lived happily ever after, where everybody would live happily ever after.